A former Banks high school teacher will spend nearly 6 years in prison for sexually abusing students. 67-year-old Wyman Smith pleaded guilty to first and second-degree sex abuse today. Prosecutors say that Smith began an inappropriate and flirtatious relationship with a student. In January of last year, Smith was alone with the student in a classroom. They say he asked them to close the door and said he wanted to give them a, quote, real hug. They say he then touched the student inappropriately and later admitted that he should not have done it. The student told a friend who told an adult. Police and school staff were contacted and Smith was placed on leave. He was later fired and banned from campus. Investigators later found a second student victim who received sexual messages and more sexual contact. In addition to his sentence, Smith will serve 10 years of post-prison supervision and must also register as a sex offender. He will also lose his teaching certification.